I'm Barry Funkhauser, and this is the Barry Funkhauser Show. Here's what's going on. Well, the e-scooter's future in San Francisco is uncertain as the permit period nears its end. In California, a court rules in favor of rideshare drivers being treated as independent contractors. And doctors advise more sunlight amidst time changes good for you. As always, I'm here with my co-host and general know-it-all current events guy, Joe. And this time, I'm the frozen Joe. I still don't have hot water yet. Still waiting on that.
Still none? Oh, man. What? Your YouTube tutorials didn't work out for you, huh? You didn't want to
gotta light the pilot light. And that's the hard part, I guess. It's not lit.
Oh, you're just scared of blowing yourself up. Don't be scared about that.
Part of that is in there, sure.
Well, I'm sorry that you're so cold. I'm having this issue where I can't stop coughing today. So that's influenced a couple meetings that I had. So hopefully that doesn't ruin our podcasting tonight, Barry.
Oh, man, you know what happened to me yesterday? I went to a big concert with our friend Matt Broughton. We went and saw The Church, and we got up real close. We were real close at the Belasco, which turns out to be a really nice venue, you know? And
it's really nice. It's not bad there. I like it there.
And then the next day, I get a text from my buddy Matt. He goes, "Hey, how are you feeling?" And I said, "Oh, I'm feeling okay. What about you?" He had to go to urgent care. He was sick. He had some
What happened to Matt?
Thing. I haven't heard back yet. He's still waiting for the test results, but he had me freaked out for a hard 15 minutes thinking that we all got COVID again by being out there with all the coughing people.
Again? I still haven't gotten COVID for the first time, so I'm going to be the last person on the earth, man. I'm telling you. I'm going to be the last person to catch it.
You're lucky, but you never leave the house with other people. That's your.
I do so. Well, okay. Sometimes I do.
Some people are rounding forth, and you're over there clean as a whistle.
Well, it's I like working from home. I like my little apartment castle that I've made myself. But I'm not adverse to going out. I just like to be safe when I go out. So I'm not going to, small, poorly ventilated concert halls to go see things right now.
I think it was the weird food we ate because we went to Little Tokyo and had some food that he had to order in Japanese, and it came. Oh, it looked fun, but I'm going to blame that instead of all the coughing people.
All right, yeah, blame the food. Yeah, just like do a disservice to the Little Tokyo food vendors. That's not.
I didn't tell them where we went. There's millions of them there.
They're gonna avoid all of it. Just because you got sick there.
Sorry.
You said you got sick there.
Hey, I didn't leave a review or anything.
Okay, that's good. All right. So our five listeners might not go to Little Tokyo. The rest of everybody else will.
Yeah. And hey, pay attention, listener number 6. We're talking. All right, let's get into the news today. Well, e-scooters' future in San Francisco is uncertain as the permit period nears the end. Here's more. Listen.
There are new figures out on the number of traffic fatalities in San Francisco. 37 people died on the roads last year. That is up from 27 the year before. 3 of those deaths involved scooters, up from just 1 in 2021. Now, there are only 2 scooter companies that operate in the city today. And our Sean Chitness looked into the concerns that some residents and city leaders have over these scooters and whether they're really worth it.
This March marks 5 years since electric scooters became available in San Francisco. But just last month, Bird decided to leave the city because of the high cost for violations like incorrectly parking a scooter.
I do this walk every day, 7 days a week, sometimes in the morning on the weekends and the afternoon during the week.
San Francisco resident Greg Giacchino takes every opportunity he gets to exercise on foot, including walking to work for his tech job in the city.
You'll find them in front of this tree here. You'll find people riding on this sidewalk. This is a narrow sidewalk. So if you're in a wheelchair, you're not going to do so well if somebody runs into you.
Greg and others have documented some of the worst examples of scooters becoming potential hazards. This video was posted on Supervisor Aaron Peskin's Instagram last year. Peskin says pedestrians, seniors, people with disabilities, and parents out with their children have all complained about the safety concerns. San Francisco updated its policies in the fall of 2022 to try and reduce scooters getting in the way.
You know, the genie's out of the bottle and we're not going to put it back in the bottle. And more, they are owned privately by individuals and there's no regulating those. So I think they're here to stay.
One of the remaining operators, Lime, says their riders traveled over 1 million miles in San Francisco last year. We asked the company about concerns residents like Greg have about scooters taking people away from public transportation.
I don't think that there is one silver bullet, so to speak, that can solve all transportation. Rather, I think it's going to be a series of different parts collaborating and working together.
Lime and another company, Spin, both point to their data showing how scooters have led to more people using public transportation.
We're committed to ensuring that our carbon footprint is as minimal as possible.
Peskin represents the part of San Francisco that sees a lot of scooter traffic because of all of the tourist destinations in his district.
Scooters are definitely not a huge part of that solution, but they're a part of that solution.
For Peskin, progress can be measured in one simple way.
We just want to get people out of cars to the extent that's possible.
But Greg worries too many riders are turning to scooters to avoid using any form of public transportation.
And if the city's going to be serious about being car free and having a functioning public transportation line or lines, then you'd want people on public transportation.
There's a shared vision to get more people out of cars, but a disagreement on whether scooters can be part of the path to get us there.
All right, so the two current operators of scooters in the city, Lime and Spin, will likely have their permits extended later this year.
Extended? Okay, so listen, Joe, here's the thing. I don't know about you, but since COVID happened, you ain't going to see me touching a public scooter, not whatsoever. But before then, I had a great time getting around town with that thing. And especially in a city like San Francisco, it's either that or taking the bus. I don't know, man. It's a hard bargain.
This is not public transportation.
Right, but they're telling you
scooters are not public transportation. I don't know why this news article.
But they're saying they want you to take that. That's the.
I understand. Like they want people out of cars, but it's not public transportation. That's individual, personalized transportation. You know, like public transit is like a bus line that runs on like a dedicated line, and you can pick it up at certain points. Subway, same exact thing. These scooters are not public transportation. They are individual transportation. So yes, it gets cars out of the road. My main issue is the fact that nobody takes responsibility for where you leave these scooters. And until we get fines or punishment or some kind of negative
some sort of hashtag back.
I'm sorry, why I am like out of words today. Until we get individual riders of these scooters to take responsibility to put them back in a place that's not just like in the middle of the sidewalk, in the middle of the street, on a corner, in front of my freaking apartment, like in the driveway, like I am going to be against these scooters because people suck. They really do. And they don't put this shit back. And it makes me really upset. You know, like the scooters are great and they're great for a lot of people trying to get around, but you can't just leave them wherever you want, people. That's not cool. You know, and that's the problem that a lot of these major cities have. That's why, like, I think didn't Venice try to like outlaw it? San Francisco's been trying to outlaw it. It's a good idea in theory, but then you get a bunch of stupid people who are totally inconsiderate, just leaving them all over the place, and it screws it up for everybody. It's like why we can't. It's the same exact reason why we can't have fires on the beach here. Why we can't have open container laws. All the because someone stupid decided that they could be inconsiderate, and then they screwed it up for everybody else. And that's what's happening here. all these inconsiderate people that just leave these scooters all over the place are going to take away scooters from everybody because us normal citizens who are respectful of our city are tired of seeing all of these scooters just strewn everywhere. It's stupid. So outlaw 'em until you can figure out how to, like, hey, if you rode this scooter and you didn't put it back, we're going to fine you. We have your credit card. We're going to charge you. If you don't put it back in a place and like lock it up and you don't do that, we're going to charge your card $20.
I think
they do it. I don't understand why we can't have like go to a charging station, set it up in a charging station. If you look at the bike rentals that they have in some of these major cities, they have it like that. Paris is a really good example. If you rent a bike and you do not return that bike and slide it into one of their, bike lock places, you'll get fined a big fine. It's like €150. It's a lot because they don't want the bike trash all over the place. They got to figure out a similar system here.
They have something similar to that for Lyft. Have you ever taken one of those little scooters?
Like a bird?
Yeah.
No, because I walk because I'm athletic and riding a scooter is just not in my DNA. I'm going to walk.
Well, they do something like that. When you're done with it, you have to take a picture of it, and it has to be, they have to approve where you left it. So you have to leave it in a certain spot, which is like. Why
do I say there? No, I don't know.
Well, they do something of that nature, but it's not enough, is what you're saying.
It's not enough. I see like 3 abandoned, Bird or whatever the other scooter company is. Like I see them on corners all over the place. It's dumb. It's littering, people. This is littering.
Well, for now, San Francisco's scooters will remain. They got their contract extended.
Boo.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
All right. Well, today's show is brought to you by
the Tiffany Granith Podcast. Advice radio for relationships, life, sex, and everything else. The Queen is back. Subscribe to the Tiffany Granith Show wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, let's get back into the news today on the Barry Funkhauser Show. A California court on Monday ruled in favor of ride-sharing apps like Uber and Lyft, stating that the companies can continue to treat employees like independent contractors, upholding the voter-approved Proposition 22. Listen.
The fight over employment for gig workers in the state of California took another step, with the California Appeals Court weighing in today. Prop 22 was passed by voters and deemed those gig workers like Uber and Lyft drivers independent contractors instead of full-fledged employees. The proposition had been previously overturned after a lawsuit, but that ruling was appealed. KCAL News Assignment Editor Mike Rogers is at the desk where things stand now. Mike?
Yeah, Jeff, so what happened today in the appeals court is they actually overturned that lower court ruling and reinstated Prop 22, well, almost all of it. A couple of the provisions were left alone. We're talking mainly about Uber and Lyft drivers, although gig workers do apply to another parts of industries in the state of California. But basically what is going to be allowed to happen right now is that the appeals court has ruled that these Uber and Lyft drivers can remain independent contractors instead of full-fledged employees, which would require Uber and Lyft to pay a lot more fees to have them as full-time employees. Now, what the court left overturned of Prop 22 was allowing Uber and Lyft drivers to unionize. That was a big fight against all of this. Now, I want to read you a statement from Uber. They released this today, saying today's ruling is a victory for app-based workers and the millions of Californians who voted for Prop 22 across the state. Drivers and couriers have said that they are happy with Prop 22, which affords them new benefits while preserving the unique flexibility of app-based work. Now, SEIU, the labor union who filed this suit, said gig companies should know by now that the drivers aren't going to give up until they have the rights afforded to all other workers in the state, from basic protections on the job like workers' compensation and unemployment insurance, paid sick leave, to having a seat at the table to bargain for better wages and benefits. Now, as we come back out on camera, the big fight over this is that the labor unions are accusing companies like Uber and Lyft of funding Prop 22 and basically buying a new law in the state of California. Of course, Uber and Lyft deny that. Jeff and Susie, while this did happen today, it is very likely that this will go to the California Supreme Court, and we will still wait on a definitive final ruling from the California State Supreme Court.
All right, Mike, thank you so much.
Well, there you go. There's sort of a resolution to the Uber and Lyft drivers. I remember when they panicked because they all were going to lose their gigs and have to pay a bunch of taxes or something. So
They still have to pay taxes.
Well,
It's not like they get tax-free income from
whatever
these
it was,
corporations.
Joe, I don't know what it was that they were upset about. Whatever. Do you remember?
It was this. Yeah, no, like a lot of the gig economy workers were like, we don't want to be listed as actual employees, for a number of reasons, right? Some because they just wanted to like fly under the radar. Some liked being able to, set their own times, do whatever they wanted, blah, 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 blah. I personally am a strong advocate for unions. I think that a lot of these drivers should have taken the union tact instead. However, I think this is a done deal. I don't know if we should continue to fight this. The one thing that is really unnerving to me is the process by which they got this on the ballot. And I'm really hoping that California takes a look at this. The proposition aspect of our Constitution and how we can legislate laws in the state of California is broken. And we really need to take it out. Uber and Lyft combined spent $200 million to get that proposition passed. They obfuscated. They were very opaque about what the law was going to do and their stance on it and all of these things. And they really just confused a bunch of people, about how they should vote and what was going to be in the best interest of drivers and riders. So I don't know. I think we should just let this one go. I think Uber and Lyft won. I don't think that it's great for these contractors, but they can eventually. What I found is, I actually drove Lyft for a month just to see what it was like.
Oh, how did that go? How dirty did your car get?
It sucked. It was not a great experience. I made almost zero money. With the amount of wear and tear on my car, the extra money you have to pay toward insurance, my insurance doubled just for that 1 month. So that's like hundreds of dollars that go out the door. And I didn't, like, at the end of the day, I made $5 an hour for that month. $5 an hour after gas and wear and tear and insurance and all this other stuff. Eventually, the drivers find out that they can't make any actual money doing this, and they leave. So that's the only thing that's what's going to change these gig economy jobs. Are enough people are going to finally realize that it's exploitive and they don't make any actual money, and they're going to leave. And then once these gig economy workers start leaving en masse, that's when the gig economy will come back and they'll raise rates or, try to make it better for drivers. But right now, all this stuff is subsidized. Like Uber and Lyft don't make any money. All the like Uber Eats and Grubhub, all of these companies do not make any money. They subsidize all of this stuff from the venture capital money that they have. If they were to actually charge what it would cost a consumer, none of these companies would survive because consumers have been taught to not expect to pay that much. And so now they've gotten themselves into a trap. They can't raise rates or they lose drivers or they lose riders or they can't raise rates on delivery or they lose delivery drivers. And the delivery stuff has its own problems because we actually stopped using any of those delivery services because we got screwed on every single one of them. Some driver always stole our food at some point. So we were just like, it's not worth it. We're just going to go and pick it up.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the drone delivery. That's going to be good.
Oh, yeah, that'll absolutely happen. And once they figure out automation and they can get all of these drivers and out of the cars and they don't have to pay anybody, they're absolutely 100% going to do it. They are not going to have any compassion for drivers at all. They're going to dump everybody once they figure out a cheaper alternative.
Agreed. I'm agreed, Joe. I'm going to go ahead and agree. All right. More news on the Barry Funkhauser Show. Well, I don't know about you, Joe, but I'm dragging. And as we plan to welcome spring, it's hello to darker mornings and lighter evenings. However, those changes are said to come at a cost. Listen.
Did you wake up feeling a little groggy this morning? I know I did. That's normal, considering millions of Americans lost an hour of sleep. It was time to spring forward to daylight saving time. Victoria Saha spoke with a doctor on how losing that hour of sleep could affect your health.
As we get ready to welcome in spring, we can say hello to darker mornings and lighter evenings. But it comes at a cost.
There's definitely evidence there are higher risks of heart attacks and strokes all in that week following the transition.
Dr. Gregory Schneider with Roseman Medical Group says that's because of the 1 hour of sleep we lose when spring daylight saving starts. A 7-year study published by the National Library of Medicine says there were a significant amount of patients admitted for AFib during the week followed by spring daylight savings. Women in particular saw a higher increase.
This hour shift is particularly disruptive because it changes our whole exposure to light during the day.
But there are ways you can help your body adjust. So as you spend Sunday evening getting ready for the work week, make sure you get as much sunlight as you can before going to bed. And as many students are on spring break this week, Dr. Schneider suggests keeping their sleep schedule as normal as possible.
Don't have to get up at 6, but try not to make it noon.
Victoria Saha, 8 News Now.
Now, from an economical standpoint, studies show businesses benefit from the time change. As it's still light out by the time many are off work, they tend to go out and shop and dine.
Yeah, that's all well and good unless there's 10 days of rain coming at you right afterwards to really mess with your psyche. And I can't remember if it's this one or the other time change that causes more accidents. I think it's the other one where it gets darker earlier and people don't forget how to drive. But
No, I think it's this one.
Is it this one?
Well, yeah, because this is the one where people actually have to they're waking their body up an hour earlier than normal, and so they are more groggy, and it's darker in the morning.
Oh,
so that's when there are more accidents. And usually like road conditions kind of suck around this time anyway. As you mentioned, we've been having lots of rain, so people in Los Angeles don't know how to drive as it is, and throw rain in there, and whoo, oh boy, we get some accidents.
Yeah. Well,
you don't have to worry. You don't ever have to worry about getting enough sun. You're out there urban farming every day. You're getting all the sun you can get.
Well, yeah, no, when it's pouring rain for several days in a row, that's never.
Oh, it's just a few days you're missing out. I think you're going to be okay.
All of my socks,
like a vitamin D caplet or something.
All of my socks are moist.
Oh, that's gross. All your socks are moist. That's like the worst feeling. Yeah, having like soggy footwear is like the worst.
Yeah, but it's do what the doctor says. Get more sunlight and try to get to bed early and wake up earlier, but not 6 a.m., but not noon. That's hard for me.
Well, no, come on. 6 a.m. is great. That's when we wake up. You got to wake up at 6 a.m. You got to just get your day started. Like I ease into my day. I wake up and I read some news, have some coffee. It's a good time. And then, by 8 o'clock, I'm like raring to go and work.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to take your advice, Joe, and try to do that.
Oh, you're up earlier than I am already.
It's still tricky. This week is tricky for me, but hopefully tomorrow will be a better day for me. And I won't wake up in the middle of the night and then have to nap. And then, my sleep schedule is all messed up right now.
Oh, well, if you're talking about waking up in the night, I wake up like 4 or 5 times every night. I have nocturia. It's like it's not a great thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get a good night's sleep and we'll be back for another show tomorrow. This is the Barry Funkhauser Show.